Good morning, family and friends. Blair here. Baby's still sleeping. You might hear the sound machine in the background. Mommy's still sleeping. Daddy's awake. And we're doing another devotional Advent series, and we're going to be going on Jesus, the Lamb, who's worshipped by the persecuted. And so we're in Revelation chapter 6 and a little bit of chapter 7. And so Jesus, we've just looked at him opening up the seals. And these seals are causing troubles across the earth. They're releasing pestilences and famines and judgments that are leading to mass deaths across the earth. And so if the seal's broken, trouble. And then we have the fifth seal opened in Revelation chapter 6-9. And so it's been trouble. And now John sees the saints underneath the throne. It's this really drastic change in scenery as he's watching the seals be opened. But this seal, this fifth seal, is focused on the saints who are underneath the throne. And as they speak, we get this revelation that these saints are those who've been persecuted unto death in the midst of the tribulation that's happening. And so the world is so offended at the leadership of the Lamb during this time that they're persecuting the church. And these saints are actually crying out. It says here in verse 10, "How long, O Lord, holy and true, until you judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth?" And so they're crying out in intercession before the throne room. And then it says a white robe was given to them, and they were told to wait a little while longer while their number was added to from those who would still be killed on the earth. It's very clear in the text. It's not pretty in the man's eyes, but this is the persecuted church, and we get to see that through this fifth seal. Now in Revelation chapter 7, we get another glimpse of these group of people from verse 9 all the way through verse 17. And we actually see this group of people, identifies them that they're actually from every nation, tongue, and tribe across the nation, which is a little hint of the fulfillment of the Great Commission, and that they are actually leading in the throne room of God the call and response, worship and prayer of the Father and of the Lamb. They're actually leading the four living creatures and the 24 elders and the angels. They're the ones initiating the song in praise. And it goes to talk about how these are the ones who've washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb, have gone through the tribulation, and are from, it's the saints of all the earth and of all time since Jesus come, and of the time before that also. And so it's this global picture of worship. And so I want to highlight two things. The church who's died and gone to heaven is in chapter 6 interceding in agreement with what the Lord is doing in judging the earth, and is also worshiping him and praising him as righteous and true in chapter 7. I'm a math guy, and I had this little math picture in my brain the other day that troubles on the earth divided by a church who's interceding and worshiping equals a mature bride in who the Lord delights. And that's where we're going. That's what this book shows us. And so what does this show us about the Lamb and his people? I think is the big thing that I'm taking away from this, specifically in chapter 6. When you look at chapter 6, here's this group of saints underneath the throne room of the living God, and it's how beautiful that is in and of itself. And they're interceding. And they've been faithful to the gospel unto death on the earth. And they've gotten to the throne room of God. What else can you do to, in the kingdom of heaven, to walk before the Lord? But it's interesting that the text shows that they come to this place of interceding in heaven, and then they're given the white robes. I'm just kind of asking the question, why don't we walk through the pearly gates and receive the white robes? I just lost my head in the tribulation being a clear witness of the gospel. But there's something about intercession that this text wants to show us. And if that's what the saints in heaven are doing, should not we as mature saints, whoever that generation is, be interceding on the earth in agreement with the judgments of God that are happening? So there's something about deep maturity and receiving this white garment that the Lord gives as a blessing, because we've actually entered into agreement with the Lamb, who has entered into agreement with the Father. And so we learn something about the Lamb and how he longs for the church to partner with him in redeeming the earth, and in understanding, not being troubled, not being offended, and not being deceived, but understanding that what he is doing and how his leadership upon the earth at that time and releasing those troubles is, again, the optimum environment for as many to make a free will decision of love and agreement with Jesus Christ and enter into a covenant with him. And so just wanted to share those thoughts with you. Would love some of your thoughts too. This is such a rich passage of Revelation chapter 6, that tail end of the fifth seal, and Revelation chapter 7, talking about the glory of the saints in every tongue and tribe. I love that. As a missionary, that's the fulfillment of what we live for. And so I just want to ask that you share some of your thoughts here, again, on Facebook, YouTube, or email. Would love to go on that journey with you. And here, even as you go into your year-end journey, my wife and I are full-time missionaries with our little girl. We are a missionary family, and I just want to invite you to consider us in your year-end giving. We are fully funded and sustained by family and friends and people who believe in us, and Christian businesses who want to partner with us in our ministry. And I want to invite you to partner with us as we stand on the wall here in Kansas City and help keep a 24/7 prayer room, interceding and agreeing and praising the Father and the Lamb here in Kansas City for those all across the earth. And so we bless you with this video and ask, again, participate with me in the discussion on this. I want to go on a journey with you.